Okay, so first things first, let's have just a quick look. Again, got our folio document open. You need to have that open and ready to go, as well as the style guide extract. So the style guide extract is going to inform us. Is going to inform us as to what our settings and how we should set up our document. Okay, so just a quick refresh, as I know that you guys have gone through this style guide extract as part of Project 1 Task 4. But just quickly, we need to make sure that we're using the report template. This is found in the required documents for your project. As you can see, I've got it open here on the left. Font. The preferred font family for general use is Arial. Okay, so when it says font family, you can actually have multiple, like you can have Arial, and there's different types of Arial. So there's Arial, Arial Black, Arial Narrow, Arial Rounded, MT Bold, Arial Unicode MS. Okay, so you can use for different, depending on where you need to make emphasis or put emphasis in a document, you can use any number, any of those types of fonts to do that. Okay, we generally will stick to Arial, Arial Black, and Arial Narrow. Okay, those are the three that we will generally stick with. There's some there is some directions here on what our headings are to look like. So they're to use Arial Black and be size no smaller than 14. Single line spacing, and headings to be typed in sentence form with initial capital only, apart from proper nouns. So we're going to be using some longer titles, so we need to make sure that we follow that one explicitly. Our header, include a title in the header formatted using heading 3, and the date created should be in the header. We've edited headers before, so we just need to make sure that we do that again. Our footer, include the file name, initials of the creator, and page numbers in the footer. Tables, there's some information there on tables. I won't go through that in depth until we actually insert a table, which we will do in an upcoming lesson. Page layout, left and right margins of 2.5 centimeters, so we will check those. The report template should already be set up with some of these settings, particularly like the page layout stuff, should already be set like that. Yeah. Images, a number of images are provided in the library. Any other images to be used must be taken from copyright or royalty-free sources where possible. We've got our corporate colours, so we know if we ever need to use any colours, whether it be in the tables for shading or anything like that. We've got our coordinates for our different colours. And then printing and file naming. Alright, so that's just a quick run through. We need to make sure that we refer to this at any point when we're making any changes. So first off, document title, just starting on our template. Document title, let's look back at the folio. It does not tell us in the folio, okay, these are the different items we have to complete. It does not tell us in the folio a specific title to give, so we need to use our best interpretation on what we would title this. So it is Research into Ergonomic Furniture Prices. That's probably actually a really good title. Okay. Research into Ergonomic Furniture Prices. Now realistically, because our titles, those aren't pronoun, or proper nouns, sorry. We'll just put that like this. Okay, so if you could all if you can insert that, and then in the document subtitle, you're going to put who it's by. You will, of course, capitalise your name because that is a proper noun. From here, we'll scroll down. On the cover page, while there is in the style guide explicitly mentioned that you need to put things in the header and footer, nothing goes on the cover page in the header and footer. That will all start from the second page, from this page here. Okay. Our second page is going to be a contents page. Right, so just without editing any font styles or anything like that, just not just yet, just writing the word contents, so we know that our contents page will appear here. Our contents page will appear here. Scrolling down further onto our third page in the document. Third page in the document, we're going to begin by writing all of the titles, okay? All of the titles for our different sections throughout the document. So these will come directly from the folio. All right. I'm going to use not the whole sentence that describes what you need to do, but just part of that. So searches for appropriate online store. Okay. Then on the next line, potential online store options. Okay, so there's going to be two. Bookmarked online stores. Those are our first three. So had to use and come up with some different titles there. The next one, item comparison. Some minor mistakes, fix them up as you go. And then final recommendation. Okay. Those are our titles. Those are our 5 headings, our 5 titles. Or section headings, sorry. Alright, we're going to set up our styles now for our contents. So we're going to generate an automatic table of contents. We're also going to make it easier to complete our formatting. So referring to the style guide, let's get the style guide up. We're going to edit our styles. So there's multiple different styles within the style section. Okay, in the template there's already some Australian Hardware styles inserted. However, though, these do not work to create an automatic table of contents. I've tried to fix them and tried to change that, but it doesn't work. So in the style section, okay, in the style section we now need to look at our normal and our headings 1, 2, and there is a heading 3 somewhere. Yeah, we'll work on editing our normal and our headings 1 and 2. Okay. Normal, this is just whatever our normal text will be within this document. So whatever we want our text, our body of our text, just our normal text to be, that's what this one will be. So right click and we go to modify. Okay, right click and modify. Now based on our style guide, we're going to change this. So it says the preferred font family uses Arial. The font used in the body of reports should be Arial Narrow size 12. So this is the text that will be in the body of the report. Arial Narrow size 12. Okay. And we know that we need to use single line spacing. So format and paragraph, and this is where, because you can see in the actual preview here that there is a space below that, there is some after points and multiple line spacing. So we need to format paragraph, and this is where we can edit our line spacing. Okay, there's no indentation, which is good. We don't need to edit that. But after there's 8 points, that needs to go to 0, and our line spacing needs to be single. Press OK. You can see that the preview has changed, and then we press OK. Notice that all the text that we just inserted changed to that. That is because that is what it is currently set at in the styles. The style section is currently just set to normal. Content should have also changed as well to Arial Narrow and 12. Alright, from here we're going to edit the headings, heading 1 and heading 2 in the styles. These use of these, heading 1 and heading 2, will automatically generate our table of contents. So if we do not use heading 1 and heading 2, our table of contents will not automatically generate. So we need to modify those based on our style guide. Heading should be in Arial black size no smaller than 14. No smaller than 14. So because 14 is the smallest and heading 2 will be our smallest heading, I'm going to edit it to be Arial black and 14. And heading 1, because that'll be a bigger heading, a step above heading 2, it will be Arial 16. So we'll start with heading 2 being the smaller. Okay, changing it to Arial black, it's 14. Okay, Also something to note, the colour. Okay, the colour. We'll refer to our style guide for the appropriate colour in a moment. But we also need to change the line spacing because it does need to be single lines. So format paragraph, spacing before and after needs to be 0 and single line. Okay, excellent, excellent, excellent. That's done. Now the colour. That's okay. I'll just scroll down in the style guide to colours. To modify. Now the corporate colours. The corporate colours are as follows: banner blue, okay, logo pale white and black. I'm going to add some colours to the headings for this report. I'm going to use the dark blue for our heading 1s, for our bigger headings, and this pale blue, for the heading 2. Okay, so changing this one, we go into our colours section, more colours, and we can actually punch in those coordinates on the colour grid. So pale blue was red 137. It is green 192. And blue 229. Press OK. And as you can see, that'll change that colour. So that's our heading 2. So if we ever have any subheadings, you may or may not have subheadings within this report, but it is important to just include that and have that already pre-organised and sorted before we begin. Pressing OK. Heading 2 is complete. Right, next we will edit heading 1. So heading 1, we'll have the dark blue, and we know that we need to make it the same font as heading 2, but slightly bigger. So right click, modify, Arial black, 16, paragraph, and we want it to be single line spaced. And now to change the colour, more colours, and our logo dark blue is R1, green 65, and blue 97. That is a nice dark blue. Press OK, you can see that that's all changed, and OK. So now that those are set up, so we've got our body of our text set up, we have our headings set up, we can now actually add those, change these headings and complete the automatic table of contents. Something to be mindful of is that the spaces between your sections must be exactly the same. Okay, so to prepare for that, I'm going to put 2 enters between each of these. 2, pressing enter twice. So always ensuring that between our sections, our paragraphs, our sections in the report, it maintains the same spacing. So if I was to begin typing, I would type here, but I would always keep at least one space of gap, one space between each section and the next heading. So always maintain that even spacing between your sections. So we can highlight all of that, or we can highlight, we just highlight one row at a time. Okay, I'm holding down the control key to do this. Just highlighting one row at a time because I don't want to change these lines of text in the middle. I don't want to change them to heading 1. They need to stay normal because that's where we will write our body of text. So then I select heading 1 and they will all change. Notice that the spaces between though are still set to normal. Okay, these lines between are still set to normal. Okay, once that is done, we can scroll up. We want to get rid of where we wrote the word contents. We want to delete that. Okay, because when we generate the automatic table of contents, it will put a heading in there for us. It will put a heading in for us. So then go to references, sorry. Go to references and table of contents. Select the drop down menu. And then I just normally select the first one, automatic table 1. Press OK. Okay, so we've inserted our table of contents. You can see we have an issue here with the actual title. It's gone, it's reverted back to the old settings. You can see that that's the same colour. That's the exact same colour as the heading 1 style was before we edited it. We need to make sure that that matches our heading 1. It should be a heading 1. The words content should not appear in the actual, they should not appear in the actual contents itself. You do not need to have it in the contents. That defeats the purpose. We just need to make sure that this is changed to be exactly the same as heading 1. So this is one that we can't avoid. So Arial black, it is to be size 16. It needs to have no spacing. Okay, no spacing whatsoever. It needs to just be single space like the other headings. And then it needs to be the logo dark blue. So we can change that colour. It's there in recent colours, or you can go to more colours. Do that again. So that's how that one needs to be. There's an extra line of text there. Make sure that it's directly at the top of the page. You need to ensure that it's always at the direct top of the page. Okay? So now we've got our headings sorted. We've got these headings sorted, so now that the headings are ready to have information inserted underneath them. We'll just review our style guide and move forward to the next, the header and the footer as well, the header and the footer. So the header, include the title in the header, format using heading 3, Arial black, size 14, colour black. And then the date created should also be in the header. And then there's the sizing there for that. If we go into the header, we double click on the header, will let us go into it, or if we go to view, insert, there's header footer, you can merely select edit the header. So insert. So edit the header. In the actual header there's a graphic on the side where we can type the document title. So I'm going to put the document title in that section there. So I'm just going to copy and paste that and bring it down and insert it into the graphic here. Right. Using the same settings as what was previously there. We need to make sure that we do that for both pages because they're set up differently. The graphics on one side on one page and then it's on the other side. So you make sure we insert it on both. So that's our document header, title. And then the second item that we need to insert in the header is the date created. The date created. So going up into the header itself, we do need to do this on both the second and third page as they are different headers. Okay. The header and footer toolbar should appear when you're in the header and footer. We use the drop-down menu called Quick Parts, and we enter a new field. So these are automatically generated fields. So things like the author, the date created, page numbers, these are all inserted through different fields and can be automatically generated. So from Quick Parts field, we select create date. Okay, so this is the creation date. Right. Selecting how it should be represented, we need to make it look nice and presented nicely. So let's go with just basic. The day, the month, the year. 7 May 2015. And then press OK. That will automatically generate. Okay. I can then highlight that, and I need to ensure that it represents the exact formatting mentioned in the style guide extract, which is Arial. It's going to be in the top left for starters, so make sure it's in the top left. Arial size 8 italics. So carefully highlighting just this. Arial, not Arial narrow, Arial size 8 italics. So it's only going to be very small. It's only going to be very small. It's not going to be something that jumps out at you in the header. You'll notice that it does not appear on the third page. That's because this is a separate header. We need to do the same thing again. Create date. Make sure that you select it to appear in the exact same format. And then make the changes. Arial size 8 italics. Alright, so with those two items inserted in the header is complete. We'll now look at the footer. The footer includes the file name, initials of the creator, and page numbers. Page numbers are already sorted, and you can see in the footer that it does appear with document 1. This is the current name of the document. This is the current name of the document. So we need to change this to reflect how it should be named. So of course I need to first save my document, but I'll also refer to the folio. Now this will be something that after you do your draft and then you move to your final, you will need to update. If you submit your final and it still says draft here, it will be incorrect. So I'm just going to highlight, I'm just going to copy and paste the exact name from the folio. I'm going to keep the exact name exactly the same. File, save as. Please excuse me while I go to my filing system. Okay, so I'm just going to save it within there. And I just need to change your initials to my actual initials. Alright, now you can see that in the header at the top, at the very top of the document, it's changed. I simply need to right click on this and select update field. And this will change it to report, draft, furniture, bl.docx. I do need to check and make sure that it has the correct formatting. So Arial size 8 italics. And if I highlight, I can see Arial size 8 italics. That's fine. The last part, and we've got page numbers, they're already inserted. The last part is the initials of the creator. Now I'm going to want the initials of the creator to be on the opposite side of the page. Also need to make sure we do it down the bottom on this page. But we want it to be on the opposite side so that it's even. It goes file name, page numbers, and then initials over here. So it's nice and spread out and even. To move across to the other side of the footer, I'm going to use the tab key. I'm going to press tab once, and you'll see that the cursor is now flashing in the middle. Then I'm going to press tab again. And you'll notice that the cursor disappears. This is due to the formatting and this extra graphic on the side. It's currently sitting in the logo. It's currently sitting in the logo. I need to use the ruler, and if you haven't got your ruler displayed, you go to View, Ruler. Okay, you should always have your rulers on. I can't function in Word without the ruler on. So make sure you turn your ruler on, and you'll see there should be a little formatting here, this right tab. And if I click on this up in the top, oops, it aligns with where that is flashing. If I move this in, we'll move our cursor in to where we want it, exactly where we want it. Right. So that's where we want to put that. We don't want to see the initials appear on the side, we want to see it appear here, and that's how we move that. We can use the quick parts again to insert the name of the author. So quick parts, field, and you can insert author and select how it appears. It appears as Brock Lawson. I know that the style guide says initials. However, though, if you use the quick parts, you're showing a much more advanced. You're actually using an advanced feature, so I do not mind if you use that quick parts and insert that. All right, scrolling down to the next page, we need to do the same thing again, exactly the same thing again, and this can all happen through quick parts, field, and we need to ensure the same settings so that it looks exactly the same as above. File name. Tab. Quick parts, field, author, okay. Now our font is incorrect, so highlight that. We'll just highlight one at a time to ensure that we don't change the formatting on the page numbers. Arial, size 8, italic, and highlight here again. Arial, size 8, italic. Alright, so when you submit your final and you change the name of your document, you need to make sure you go into the header and the footer and update the field. And that will update and that will change the name. Alright, that is ready to be used now. The contents page is all set up. Right click update field, so if any of these page numbers change, you don't need to change them. You can just update the field. Okay. That will update, or if you insert any more headings, if you have to insert any more headings, you can update the entire table. This will add any extra headings that you insert. Okay, and now you're ready to actually begin inserting information into these sections.